Hey guys, so this is my Giant Trance. I thought I'd do a bike check. It's a Giant Trance 3 from 2019. So done a few things to it, make it a little more modern. Because as we know, geometry and everything, it's all progressed even since 2019, which was only a few years ago. But stock, it has a 67-degree head tube angle, which is kind of steep these days, and has a old school 73.5 degree C-tube angle. Has a large frame and it's a 448 reach. Yeah, so not as long and low and slack as bikes are now, but still I think it's still pretty relevant and still a really good buy, because you're starting to see these come up used, and yeah, I think they're still a good steal. You can pick one up and for a pretty good price. But yeah, they're so I guess the things that I've added to it, we'll start from the front. So got some RaceFace riser bars. Just puts me in a little better position going down steep stuff, and just a more comfortable riding position. I really like them. And of course orange to match all the orange bits on the bike. We'll come down. I've got the Deore 4-pot brakes, the stock, what were they, M400s I think they're called. They're okay, but they're like an on-off switch, so you could brake, but they didn't modulate well, and I felt like I kept diving into corners. I'm a heavier guy, so I'm at like 220 riding weight, so more brakes the better. So along with those brakes, I went with SLX discs. This is a 203 up from the 180 stock up front, so 203 up front, and then a 180 in the rear SLX. They're both 4-pot in the front and rear, and I'm running just the factory pads right now, the resin pads. We're really dry here. We don't have a lot of those wet days where I need the metallic pads, I don't think. Yeah, I don't never have a real big problem with heat or anything like that either. Even when I'm in the mountains, I found that it's fine. The other thing, I've got the SR Suntour Aion front fork. I bumped this up to a 160 mil from the 150 mil factory for travel. This gives me a little more squish, and it changes the geometry. I'll get into that in a little bit here too. I also have an upgraded damper. So kind of long story for this one. I was servicing the fork. I had a torque wrench. I torqued the bottom bolt here to spec, and it snapped. So I sheared off the damper side, the piece on the bottom. Spoke with SR Suntour. They said they had actually the wrong torque spec on their video, which is the one I followed, and that's why I sheared off. I don't think I'll ever trust that torque wrench again anyways, but yeah, I think it was like 8 Newton meters, and I torqued it to 10 or something like that. It was, yeah, but since then they've corrected the video, and yeah, and they gave me a new damper under warranty, so that was super nice of them. And they didn't have any of the stock dampers in stock because of COVID, so they gave me the upgrade. So I think this is I can't remember which damper it is, but it's the one step up from the factory Aion 35 mil boost fork. The other thing I did on here was put a -2 works angle headset. Now, so this between the headset, so 67 minus 2, 65, and then the additional 10 mils of travel on the fork. Now I've got a 64.5 degree head tube angle, which is way more modern for a trail bike or an all mountain bike. I really like it. I feel like the bike doesn't dart around quite so much. It can kind of track better. I haven't noticed any negatives climbing either. It almost feels like it climbs better because it doesn't get hung up because that front tire is a little further out, and I don't feel like the front end wanders or anything like that either. So if you have this bike, I would highly recommend it. So the other thing, the fork, bigger fork, will change your seat tube angle by half a degree as well. So now it's a 63 degree, but then with the Works angle headset, I think it's actually because it lowers the whole front end, so it actually steepens the, if you think about it, it steepens the seat tube angle a bit. I think I measured it with like a string in the middle of the seat, with where it's at right now, which is slammed forward. So again, that's going to give you another degree, so 74.5 plus the other stuff. I think it's around 75, but tomato, it's, you know, it's a numbers game. I wouldn't I still would do the angled headset and the fork and stuff if I bang this up and got a new bike or whatever it is. It's an awesome little tweak to geometry. It does shorten your reach by like 2 millimeters, so keep that in mind. If you're feeling squished already, it might be too much. I feel just at home. It is super comfortable. Moving along, internal cable routing. We'll go up to the saddle. So I got a Chromag Trailmaster saddle. I love this thing. It is super comfortable, and it matches orange. Sticks with my orange theme, which is all good. 150 mil travel. I don't think I can quite fit a 170 mil, so stuck with the 150, but I feel like I can get low enough on the bike. Oh, I forgot, Deity grips. I really like those too. They seem to be doing good. The dropper is still the Giant factory dropper. It's been working great. Okay, we'll move down. I replaced the chainring with Blackspire single tooth and orange, because I can get it in orange, and it just makes the bike look really nice. I don't know, I kind of like the whole orange bits on it. So I kept the 30 tooth front chainring, Nukeproof Neuron Flat pedals. I got a great deal on chain reactions. I really like the pedals. They are incredibly grippy. I really like that. So continue with the drivetrain. This came factory with the 10-speed 11 to 42 tooth rear cassette and derailleur. So I put a 11 speed on here, so it's 11 speed Deore. I like Deore. It works, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg if you end up smashing your rear derailleur or anything, or cracking your shifter or something like that. So 11 speed shifter, 11 speed cassette, so that's an 11 to 51 tooth, and then the Deore long cage with the clutch, obviously. I really like this setup. It's on my Torrent as well, and I couldn't be happier. It's just works. It's bomb proof. It might not be the lightest, it's durable, but it just works well. Does everything I ask it to do. Yeah, so we'll move on. Rear shock. It is the RockShox Deure Air. Nothing really to say. It works. It does its thing. I did get a NAR token put in. Yeah, Deluxe. Sorry. Yeah, it's a Deluxe, RockShox Deluxe. But yeah, it's I put a NAR token in. I spoke with Fluid Function over in I think they're in the Squamish area. So I sent them the forks to get serviced, and I told them my weight and kind of the riding I do. They suggested putting a little bigger token in there, so they did that for me, sent it back, and it's awesome. No complaints at all. There's no lockout on the rear shock, but thing still pedals really well, climbs really well. I'm super happy with it. I did add a token up front as well, talking about suspension tuning, just because I am a heavier guy. I talked to Suntour. They recommended, I think, 3 or 4 tokens from the factory too. I think that's what it was. So I think I have 4 in there now. Maybe it's 3, but yeah, it's whatever's in there now. I'm gonna leave it because it works great. This is yeah, still not using quite all the travel. Did a fairly decent sized drop today, but it's which is good. I think I wouldn't want to bottom out on that drop anyway. So yeah, moving on. I went with my stock tires were toast, so I went with the old Maxxis Minion DHF and DHR2 combo, and I just kept the same size, the 27.5 with the 2.5 up front and 2.4 in the back with the WT tire, because these are 30 mil wide wheels. And yeah, honestly, I really like this bike. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm still running tubeless. Pressures are about, I think, 27 up front and about 25 in the rear. I change that though, depending on conditions and what I'm riding and stuff like that too. Yeah, so other than that, I think that pretty well settles it. Awesome bike. If you're in the market and find one used, I wouldn't hesitate to pick one up. Oh, the rear travel is 140 mil as well. Yeah, so which I think is now it's great for trail use and all mountain. I feel like I could, you know, take this in a cross country race, maybe not do the best, but it'd be okay. But then I also feel like it would be fine on an enduro. It's kind of a great jack of all trades bike. Yeah, I really like all the changes I've done. I don't think I'm gonna change much as far as the future goes with this. Yeah, I think everything is great. The Suntour suspension is actually really good too. I know they get a lot of flack because they make some lower end stuff, but that's kind of like, you know, saying the Ford GT is garbage because I drove a 1989 Tempo and that was trash. Well, can't really write off the whole brand because they make one cheaper product. But yeah, so yeah, really like the bike. And yeah, if you have any comments, you got any questions, if you're looking at a Trance and want my opinion on it or what you feel like I should offer or whatever, feel free to comment. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and yeah, take care.